G'day mate, my name's Margie and I'm an Australian currently living in America. And for today's video, we are going to be looking at my top 5 episodes from season 3 of Bluey. Bluey! So if you're new to my channel, I like to do Australia versus USA content as well as Bluey content. And I'm also going to be diverging a little bit more into other like Australian animated content as well and American stuff, just from the point of view of an Australian. So if any of that interests you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, as well as give this video a big thumbs up. I super duper appreciate it. So this video also has a bit of a giveaway attached to it as well because my channel finally got monetized. Woo! I've been doing this for a year now and it really means a lot to me. I want to make this my actual job because I'm really passionate about all the stuff that I put on this channel. So if you're interested in taking part in the giveaway, I'm going to give a little bit more information about that later on in the video. So make sure that you watch through to the end so that you can partake in it. So let's just get started. I want to give a special mention to 2 episodes that didn't actually make it into my top 5. The first one being Rain. I feel like Rain is a really popular one for everyone because it's that sort of silent episode with lots of music, similar to Sleepy Time. And whilst, yeah, I thought it was really beautiful, it didn't really speak to me as much as my top 5 episodes. It's actually kind of like mid-tier for me. So I do love the episode, but it's just not up the top for me. The second one I want to give a shout out to is my number 6 episode, and this actually kind of fluctuated and changed. And the only reason it didn't hit my top 5 is because of 2 lines in it. So the episode is Mini Bluey. Obviously the animation in this is really awesome. Getting to see the characters in different colors is really cool. But I didn't pick it because of the one little sort of mini conversation between Chili and Bandit.
But seriously, how good's Double Bingo?
Yeah, I know.
I just really felt like this conversation was, I don't know, out of character for them, and I didn't really like that they also included this. It kind of shows the idea of favoritism, and they've worked really hard in previous seasons to not show that. So for me, that's the one main reason it didn't actually hit my top 5 is it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But let's go with my number 5 option though, drum roll, and that would be the episode Whale Watching. Now I realize this might not be a big episode for a lot of people, but for me as a parent, it really, it hit home really well. So I feel like the lesson is that even if you're hungover, you still have to be a parent because that is your full-time responsibility. And I also love that, yeah, it's something that happens to adults. We like to go out, we also like to drink, it's part of life. But yeah, when you're hungover, you still have to interact with your kids and you still got to get through that day. So I liked that was kind of like the lesson of it almost. In terms of the characters, yeah, it is just the family, but I do love that they reference Muffin and they reference the New Year's Eve party at Uncle Stripe's house. We also find out a little bit more about what Bandit and Chili are like when they're not around the kids. Like Chili likes to dance on the tables after a few too many champagnes maybe. So I really liked that we got to learn a little bit more, I guess, about the characters behind the scenes. I also feel like this episode has one of the largest cameos of the season, and that is Natalie Portman. She is the documentarian for the whale doco that we get to see at the end. She's also a big fan of Bluey and reads it to her children. So I feel like that's another reason why this episode is really cool. In terms of the Easter eggs, we get to see the long dog, we get to see the tennis ball, we get to see a second long dog on the couch as well at the end of the episode. So that's really cool too. We also see the Australian ABC Kids logo on the TV. The music is Sailor's Hornpipe from the 1700s, but probably more well known from Alice in Wonderland, the animated movie. And I also love that they included the line, "Gotta be done." Anytime they reference those kind of lines, I really enjoy it. In terms of like Aussie references as well, yeah, Brisbane is really popular for whale watching, which is basically what this episode's all about. Snappy Turtles and also the Castaway movie reference I think are pretty cool. Overall though, I like the adult themes and references in this episode, and that's why it's in my top 5. I love that they reference how hungover they are because they don't want loud noises, they want to eat junk food, they don't want to do anything. They use the TV as a way to help distract the kids because yeah, sometimes that happens to parents. Sometimes we're in any of those situations where sometimes it's a bit too much and yeah, the TV works as a babysitter, and you know what? That's incredibly relatable. I do think it's really funny that Bandit really commits to it still and Chili just refuses. She's just like, outright, no, I'm not going to. I am trying to deal with my hangover at the moment. And he kind of guilt trips her a little bit about this, and I don't really like that so much. But I like that Chili, through her own understanding, decided to realize that she wanted to commit and help the girls in their game. Also, the animation of them being whales is absolutely hilarious. And overall, I just think that's a really good episode. It really shows the parents in a different light, and I love that. So my number 4 is probably gonna be a bit surprising, I think, to quite a lot of people. But for me, my number 4 episode was Explorers. Now, interestingly enough, this episode on my channel was like one of the least viewed breakdowns, and also wasn't like voted when I did a little poll as being one of the top 5. But for me, as an Australian living overseas, this episode really like struck me in the heart. I love the idea of that you shouldn't rely on tech and gadgets, and that to sort of see Australia or explore Australia, you don't need those sort of things. Like, you just need to go through the back roads a little bit. But this episode for me was just so Aussie. It was so Australian. I love as well that we got to see our favorite characters from Bluey's school. So it centered again around Jack, who has been a main character before in previous episodes. So I like that we got to see a bit more of him and his family and how they interact together. I also love that we got to see Maynard again, and that we also got to see backpackers in Australia, because that's a really big thing for us. Cameos, of course, we sort of have some famous people. So Hamish Blake and his wife Zoe Foster Blake. They're the Australian tourism ambassadors at the moment. So this sort of really worked perfectly with this episode as well. In terms of Bluey Easter eggs, we got to see Snickers doing his sausage roll again. We got to see Bandit being an octopus. We had a long dog there with a little hat and a strawberry. And we also got a really cool number plate reference again. We got to see Jack's car, which stands for Brown and Russell, or Jack Russell. And that we found out that he's from Victoria as well. But in terms of the Aussie references, like, there's just so many. From them referencing being Australian explorers like Douglas Mawson, that we don't call it a GPS, we call it a sat nav, that we have backpackers who fruit pick in Australia, specifically strawberry fruit picking in Brisbane. It's a big part of how our fruit and vegetable agriculture system works, is we rely on backpackers to pick all of our fruit and veggies for us. So I love that they actually reference that. The fact that they had the bait and tackle shop where Maynard works, and that they had the Telstra box there as well is super Aussie. That he calls them city fellas, and then they have to go bush bashing, and they see the cockatoos and the kangaroos, and then just that saying at the end,
"Is this Australia?"
Yeah, mate. This is Australia.
Like, it almost brought me to tears. Like, that's why it's up there, is because this for me was like a teary episode. It just meant so much to see all these like beautiful parts of Australia that people might not realize are very Aussie, and for that reason, it's my number 4. Now, number 3 is one of my more popular videos on this channel, and that episode is Faceytalk. I love this lesson, I think, because it shows a lesson for both kids and adults, the idea that hogging is bad, and that you really should communicate and talk about your feelings and share. And it's really important to share, again, as children with objects, but also as adults with how you parent and how you experience things. I think it's a really big part of this season 3 is showing imperfect parents, and so that's another reason why I really love this episode. In terms of the characters we see Bluey's family, but we also get to see Muffin's family as well. And I love that we also get to see more of Muffin's house, or Uncle Stripe's house, I should say, and the difference in architecture between Bluey's house and Muffin's house. For Easter eggs, we see the cat squad, we see the Moonlight Unicorns, we see Chunky Chimp. We get a couple of like our famous lines from this season, classic Stripe being a new one for Bandit. And with the references, I love that they use the classical music for the chase scene. I love that they use like the idea of Snapchat and filters as well. We see all the different locations around the world, and probably my favorite reference, I think, is the BoJack Horseman reference at the very end with the pool. But overall, some of the little things that I just really loved were like Bandit beatboxing at the start, hearing Socks talk more, finding out Muffin's middle name is Cupcake, as well as the animation of how they did the chase scene, of how they did like the green screen with the filters and it being a little pixelated, and also showing like the 3-way chat basically, and how they move through the house and you could see it in different areas. All of that animation was incredible. Some of the big things that I loved was the fact that it goes through different parenting styles. It shows gentle parenting versus permissive parenting, the issues that Stripe and Trixie have with their parenting, and maybe that's why we see Muffin the way she is, or Socks the way she is, and seeing that kind of difference between the cousins basically because of the parenting style. But I love as well that it doesn't just show them arguing, it shows them making up and teamwork and co-parenting and working together. So I think it overall shows a really good way of how you can get through some of those problems. And that's why it's my number 3. So for my number 2 episode, this one was obviously one of my favorites, and that was Pass the Parcel. This episode was so cool and brought back so many memories for me as a child in Australia and going to birthday parties. I like the lesson is that not everyone has to win. Sometimes the game can just be fun if there is only one winner. I guess like that's a big thing that comes up a lot with parenting groups these days, the idea of like participation awards or everyone winning and not just one winner. So I think it was really trying to tell like a story about that. And I liked that they used the idea of Pass the Parcel for it. Obviously the characters is one of the main reasons that this is up there, because we basically saw everyone. We got to see all the friends from Bluey's class, from Bingo's class, we got to see other family members, we got to meet new characters as well, like Janelle, Lucky's mom. We finally got to see what she looks like. We also found out that Lucky has a sibling that we have just never seen before, as well as we got to meet Leela's mom. We got to see that Leela also has a little sibling too. And of course, one of the big parts of this was seeing all the different locations all around Brisbane. We got to see inside Lucky's house. We also got to see the different parties at different places all around Brisbane. So that was really cool. I liked some of the Easter eggs, like we got to see the $5 again, or the $1 or dollar bucks. But we also got to see the $20 note as well, and how they transformed that from the Aussie version to the dog version. Each of the fridges, as well as the invitations to the birthdays, had so many Easter eggs all over them from previous episodes, as well as more Aussie references too, like the postcard from Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Woolworths receipt. I love that we got to see a reference to Chattermax. Chattermax was a big Easter egg for this season, but also we got to see a lot of like Aussie references and slang. So the word Sheila, which is Leela's mum, like that means woman or female in Australia. Also squib, which is something that Lucky's dad uses, which means coward. We got to see a lot of Aussie food like fairy bread and green cordial for birthday parties. And like I said, I just feel like this episode just had so much in it, so many different scenes, so many different characters, so much new information, that was one of the reasons I like that it expanded the Bluey universe and we got to see more of Brisbane within the Bluey-verse as well. So that's why it's my number 2. And of course, for the number 1 episode, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be number 1 for basically everyone, I think. And that is the episode Fairytale. It was the last episode we got to see for season 3 so far, but also I think hands down one of the best ones. It's the first big real like flashback episode that we've had, and I love that the lesson is basically be nice to your siblings and don't tease people, and that maybe true love is real and is like a fairy tale. Now the characters of course are Bandit's families, but back in the 80s, which is so cool. We learned that Uncle Rad is actually the oldest brother, not the youngest, which a lot of us had assumed. Also for cameos, we got a lot of different voice actors because the main characters were played by younger people. Nana was still the same voice actor, but Granddad Bob, or Grandpa Bob, we finally got to see him again, but it was actually a different voice actor of him, which was Sam Simmons, who's a famous Australian comedian. So it was kind of cool to get to see a little bit more of him. In terms of like the best Easter eggs and references, honestly, I wrote 4 pages of notes when I did this breakdown. There was that many Easter eggs and references in it. So if you want to see all of them or look at all of them, definitely go check that video out. I'll put a little thing up here and a little thing in the description down below so you can click on them. But I guess for some of my favorite ones, I liked that they used the saying for real life a lot. I loved the 80s music, the 80s montage scene where you get to learn more about like 80s in Australia. I love that they turned some like iconic characters like He-Man and She-Ra and Superman all into dogs. They had the long dog Easter egg in there. And they also had like such a random Japanese streetcar racing manga reference in it as well, which I thought was so left field, but really cool. Overall though, this really probably hit my number 1 because it was the only episode where I actually legit cried. Like I cried at that end scene between Bandit and possible Chili. But I just loved it so much because I think it really represented kind of like camping did with Bluey and Jean-Luc, but in the future, but this is in the past. I like that it referenced that like Bandit thinks that this is the first time he met Chili, but Chili thinks the first time they met was in London, and they sort of talk about that in the episode The Show. So I like that it kind of like joined together, added a little bit more history into the Bluey-verse as well, and we also got to learn a little bit more about Grandpa Bob and the way that he parented and how different that is to both Stripe and Bandit as well. And I also think that this is a really good excuse to make a spin-off series. So it makes for a fantastic episode. I want to see more of the backstory between all the healers. I would love to learn more about all their past and what it was like for them growing up at different times in Australia. So those are my top 5 episodes. What were your top 5? Please let me know in the comments down below. In terms of the giveaway, what you have to do as well. You have to like, you have to subscribe, so I have to be able to see that you're a subscriber. And then in the comments down below, let me know what is it that you love about Bluey. Like, I wanna know why it is that you really enjoy watching this show. I'll then pick the winner out of those comments in a week's time, so there'll be a week worth where you can comment as to why you love Bluey for the giveaway. The giveaway is going to be Australian treats. I put up a little poll a little while ago and that was what everyone seemed to pick. It is open to anyone who has Amazon in their country. So if you don't have Amazon in your country, unfortunately, I can't really send the treats to you. Also, if you're already in Australia or New Zealand, this isn't gonna really work because you guys have access to these treats. So I might do like a gift voucher if the winner is selected and they're from Australia or New Zealand. So I'll use one of the random selectors that you can just pull up here on the internet. I'll do a bit of a live stream for it so that everyone can sort of see. And then I'll let you know in the comments below if you won, and you can contact me through the back end of my channel on my about page there. I've got my email. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for joining and watching this video. If you're interested in more content, I'll put some ideas for other videos up here, and here, and I will see you in another video. Mwah! Goodbye!